Think the average American is sitting on serious wealth? Think again. Just because someone drives a nice car, shops frequently, or seems to effortlessly book $750 a night hotel rooms on vacation doesn't mean they're financially secure. You've seen it with your friends, your coworkers, and all over social media. Flashy lifestyles that look effortless. TikTok influencers make it look like everyone is building a fortune, and even in real life, your colleagues or neighbors might seem to live above their means. But the reality? Most households aren't anywhere close to the kind of wealth that can sustain those lifestyles for the long term. And understanding that gap between appearances and reality is exactly what we're going to discuss. Before we dive in, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the video reach more people, and it's the easiest way to support the channel. This number tells you a lot about the typical person's finances, the median net worth in the United States. And to clarify, the median is the midpoint. Half of all households have more, half have less. That makes it a much more accurate picture of what most Americans actually have, rather than being driven up by a few billionaires. And honestly, when you dig into it, the number is smaller than most people expect. It also explains why people assume so many Americans are doing better than they are. Appearances are very misleading. Houses, cars, vacations, even high-end electronics, none of that tells you what's really in someone's bank account or retirement fund. According to the Federal Reserve's latest data, the median net worth for U.S. households is roughly $193,000. Let's round that to $200,000. Half of all households have more than that, and half have less. That's the reality. And the part that surprises most people? That's household net worth, which could be a single person, a couple, roommates, or a family. Most households are usually more than two people, but the number represents the combined financial position of everyone living in the household. Even then, $200,000 includes a lot of things that aren't immediately usable cash. And $200,000 might sound like a lot at first glance. You might think, hey, that's a nice pile of money. But let's break it down. That number isn't just cash sitting in a bank account, it's spread across several components. Your home, if you own it, retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs, and whatever liquid assets you have available today. You can't really withdraw it tomorrow and buy a car, take a luxury vacation, or start a business. In fact, if you exclude things you can't easily sell and still function normally, like your home, retirement accounts, a car, or even essential furniture and checking account balances meant to pay bills, the amount of money most Americans could actually access right now is much smaller. And that's an important distinction because it changes how you should think about this number. On paper, $200,000 seems impressive. In real life, the portion you can actually use freely is modest. Truthfully, this number is most important to your heirs because that's what they get if you kick the bucket today. So what actually makes up that $200,000? A big chunk is home equity, the value of your home minus what you owe. It's often half or more of that number. For someone living in an average priced home, that might be $100,000 or more. Retirement accounts also make up a big portion. 401ks, IRAs, pensions, accounts that are growing but can't be accessed freely without penalties. The typical household has almost $90,000 sitting in these accounts. Then there's miscellaneous items that could be sold. But keep in mind, if you sold your couch, your phone, and your TV, you'd be sitting on the floor staring at the wall. Finally, there's cash and other liquid assets, the money you could actually use immediately if you needed it. Here's where it gets interesting. Median liquid assets, the money you could touch right now, is often less than $20,000. That's enough for some small emergencies, maybe a down payment on a used car, but it doesn't provide the kind of financial freedom people often imagine. This is why the $200,000 figure can feel deceptively large at first, but once you break it down, it's clear that for many households, that number isn't life-changing. Let's make this more concrete. Imagine you're 35 living with your spouse. You've been working for a little over a decade. Maybe you've started saving, perhaps you bought a house. According to survey data, your net worth, everything you own minus what you owe, might be around $75,000 or $100,000. That's enough to provide some security. Sure, it's a great start, but only meaningful if that number keeps rising and accelerates the way it would if it were in compounding investments. It could cover the down payment for a modest home purchase, some investments, and a small emergency fund. But it's not enough to suddenly afford luxury vacations, high-end electronics, or a new car every year. And that's precisely what makes the median figure so interesting. It's within reach for many people, yet it's modest enough to make you pause and think, that's really it? And think about the daily realities. Many people in their 30s are still paying off student loans, dealing with credit card debt, or just covering basic living expenses. Some are juggling rent, daycare, or the occasional surprise expense. Even with a decent salary, these costs make it hard to grow net worth at all. This is why $75,000 or $100,000, while seemingly reasonable, isn't life-changing in the way people often imagine. The issue isn't having a certain net worth at 35, it's what comes next, and what actually happens after that is really revealing. To understand just how far $200,000 would go if it were all in cash, let's break down some common expenses people often face. A college degree could easily set you back 6 figures. A wedding can easily cost $40,000 depending on the size and location. A new car might set you back $50,000 or more. Even a pretty small down payment on a home could be $50,000 or higher in many areas of the country. Suddenly, $200,000 starts to feel much smaller. It's enough to cover some major expenses, but certainly not everything people hope to spend or save for. Now imagine someone in their 50s. By then, the median net worth rises to roughly $250,000. When you consider the fact that these people are nearing retirement age, it's still not as high as you might expect. And the surprising part? Even after decades of work, the typical American household isn't anywhere close to $1 million. Why? Well, many people struggle to save consistently. Daily expenses, lingering student loans, frequent car upgrades, and lifestyle inflation all take a toll. Investing often isn't a priority, and when it is, starting late or being overly conservative slows growth. Plus, there's a common misconception that simply owning a home makes you wealthy. Home equity contributes to net worth and can be a huge help, but it isn't cash in your pocket and doesn't generate income unless sold or rented. Social media amplifies the gap between perception and reality. Huge wardrobes, new phones every year, premium cars, large homes in the suburbs with trendy decor, it's everywhere. But median net worth tells a very different story from what it looks like. Most people aren't rich, despite what their lifestyle portrays. They're paying bills, saving a little, investing a little, and spending a lot. And that's the key point. Many people are spending more than they should. They're borrowing to keep up the lifestyle, relying on credit cards, and often thinking that small luxuries today will magically translate into wealth later. It doesn't. The median net worth shows that appearances can be deceiving, and financial reality is far more modest than it seems. So $200,000 isn't staggering, it's not shocking, and it's not life-changing, but it is enough to give most people a foundation to become wealthy. Unfortunately, most people don't follow through. And here's the thing, surpassing it is very achievable. Many households are just drifting through life, spending freely, rarely thinking strategically about saving or investing. With a little focus, small adjustments, and a bit of discipline, moving beyond the median isn't a distant dream, it's within reach for anyone willing to pay attention to their choices. And this isn't about shaming anyone at or below this level, it's about understanding reality. At first glance, $200,000 sounds like a lot. But when you compare it to real-life costs, it's far from the jackpot most people imagine. This is why breaking down the median by liquid assets, retirement, and home equity is so important. It helps put everything into perspective. And this isn't about laziness either. Life is expensive, and the costs of housing, transportation, and everyday living keep rising. On top of that, the temptation to live a lifestyle of luxury is greater than ever. From social media to flashy advertising, it's easy to feel like everyone else is spending and thriving. So the median household net worth, it's not a bad place to start, but it's far from financially free.